Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Laura Tad, and I am a psychological and spiritually oriented wellness coach and consultant. And I am going to be helping Michelle Fleming with the Goddess Awakening Retreat this coming March. And so, to give you a little taste of what it's going to be like when you join us, I thought I'd talk for a little bit about the upcoming full moon this February 1st. So, in astrology, we look to the moon for a lot of things. And the moon and its cycle of 28 days, or roughly 28 days, technically 27 days, 7 hours, 43 minutes, and 11 and a half seconds, is part of how we work with it, looking at, and how we'll be working with it at the retreat, is looking at all 8 phases of the moon. But for this particular little chat, I'm going to just talk about the full moon. So that cycle, full moon to full moon, is that almost 28-day period. And with 12 signs in the zodiac, that breaks down to about 2.5 days per sign and 12 to 14 degrees per day. And even though we may not be aware of it, astrology is interwoven deeply into our culture and our language. We even get the word Monday from Munday, right? Lunes, luna in Espanol, luna is moon in Espanol. So it is deeply interwoven into how we look at and understand the world. Astrologically speaking, when we work with the moon represents our feelings, our moods, our temperament. It's our emotional experience of the world and how we embody the mother archetype individually, as also it can represent how we've experienced our mothers, or more broadly, the parent who took on that mother role more, which is not necessarily gender specific. The moon also represents our ability to nurture and be nurtured, how comfortable we are in receiving or giving nurturing. It's our internal reality. It's the part of us that is open, receptive, cyclical, just like the cycles of the moon. So the full moon, which is what we'll be talking about today, is always this opposite sign of the sun. And so since we are in Aquarius season, then the full moon is in Leo, which is the sign that happens 6 months apart from Aquarius. And when the moon is full, she's at her zenith. It's the time of completion. It's a time of letting go. Everything has been accumulating and building over the last 2 weeks from new moon to full moon. So now she is fully illuminated. She's fully reflecting the light of the sun. And so it's part of why we associate such big emotions with this phase, is she's so big, she's so visible, that the emotions come bubbling up and are no longer able to be hidden. So this particular full moon, as I was saying, is going to be in Leo because we're in Aquarius season. And Leo is a fixed sign, just like Aquarius. All of the fixed signs are signs that fall in the middle of seasons. So since we are in the middle of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, that's Aquarius' season. 6 months prior or after, we're midsummer, which is fixed fire, which is Leo season. And Leo as a sign is the sign most associated with the sun. And in some ways, very opposite the moon. The sun is the self, it's our identity, and not necessarily about emotions. So it's an interesting place for it to fall, because Leo on its own can be very dramatic, and so in some respects emotional. But its emotions and feelings do have a different tone or feel quality to them. Leo as a sign is creative, it's artistic, it's playful, it's our inner child in many ways. Leo is about love and ego strength, as well as egocentric behavior. It's heart-centered, right? Lion-hearted terminology, again, reflecting how much astrology has been interwoven into how we simply look at the world from antiquity and even earlier. It has been deeply interwoven into our language and our worldview. Leo can be very performative. It's also about performance. That's part of its artistic and creative piece is it's very much about the performing arts, which can be performing, but also performative, which can have some of that egocentric, vain, dramatic quality to Leo. So, what does that mean then when we merge this energy, this Leonian energy, with the full moon? And as you can see here in this chart, and I'll use a little laser pointer here so you can see what I'm talking about. So here is the full moon in Leo at 13 degrees and 3 minutes. And it is 180 degrees from all of this stuff over here in Aquarius. And so that's part of what makes it the full moon. It's exactly opposite in the sky from the sun. And it is in then dialogue with all of that stuff that's in Aquarius. They're all in communication with the moon. And Mercury, this little green guy here, is the god of communication. Venus, what we value. The sun, our identity. Mars, our drive. Pluto, the god of transformation. All in dialogue with emotions. All in dialogue with creative, emotional expression as we go into February. It's a very powerful full moon. And one of the things that you can do in working with astrology is look at what's called a Sabian symbol. So Sabian symbols were derived from an astrologer and a medium who worked together to create symbols or phrases to describe imagery for every degree of the zodiac. So there's 30 degrees per sign, 12 signs, 360 degrees around the zodiac. You get 360 different visual images that they came up with. And so for this particular full moon, we then would look at 14 degrees Leo, because although the full moon is occurring at 13 degrees, it's 13 degrees and change, right? And so then you look at the next one, as opposed to simply looking at the 13 degrees. You look at, with any Sabian symbol, you look at the degree ahead, because nothing's just that degree. It's that degree in minutes, that degree in seconds. You always look at the one that is following it. And so for this particular full moon, we then have the Sabian symbol, the phrase, a human soul awaiting opportunity for expression. And so this too links, I think, to the creativity of Leo, that creative expression, but this is a very powerful expression that is on the precipice of coming to fruition, the precipice of being shared with the world, because it's at this soul level, the soul awaiting an opportunity to create, to express. And because it is then, this particular full moon is in dialogue with so much of the sky, that it is a really powerful full moon to find our voice, find what we want to value, where we want to put our actions, how do we want to identify, what is the creative message we are on the brink of saying and sharing with the world. So for those of you who are born, have a sun in any of the 4 fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, this is a particularly powerful full moon. Additionally, anybody who knows their own chart, if you have anything significant in those signs, particularly the middle part of fixed signs, again, this is a more powerful full moon for you because of how the full moon then is communicating or in dialogue with your own personal astrology. So these are all things that we'll go into more conversation about when we come together in Coco, but this is just to give you a little bit of a taste. So when working with a full moon, you want to honor your accomplishments, right? She's at her zenith. Honor that. Honor what the work is that you've done, particularly over the last 6 months, because 6 months ago, we had a new moon in Leo. When we were in Leo season, it was the new moon and you were setting intention that was Leonian. What have you accomplished in the last 6 months? And honoring those accomplishments. Additionally, things are coming to fruition that maybe you haven't quite finished, but you're starting to see the payoff for all your hard work, particularly again, the seeds you planted 6 months ago. Looking to those, reflecting on what has paid off, what fruits of your labor are you seeing manifest? And along those lines, are there things that you need to let go of to allow the rest of that to bloom, to allow the rest of that to manifest, so that you have room for still more to come in? And this is particularly true regarding letting go of Leonian things. So maybe letting go of the ego attachment to how things are manifesting, letting go of creative projects that were maybe a good idea at one time, and as you got more information, you saw different ways to go. So letting go of the attachments of creative projects that aren't coming to fruition, is that actually what's required? Or maybe it's letting go of the attachment to them manifesting rather than letting go of them. So spend some time reflecting on that and even journaling on that, or making a list of the things that you're wanting to let go of that's about ego, that's unhealthy ego, right? Where are you egocentric? Where are you having unhealthy attachments around love or how you expect love to be expressed? And then, because it's a full moon, burn that paper that you journal on so that it's released into the cosmos, so that it's released into the air, into the ether. If you don't live somewhere where you can burn it outside, then you could burn the paper in a kitchen sink or in the bathtub, somewhere where you have the ability to turn on water quickly if you need to because you're burning something inside. It shouldn't create a lot of smoke if it's just a page or two, but just to be safe, because not everybody has the freedom or the live somewhere where you can burn something outside or have a little backyard or patio or something. So this is some of how we'll be working with the lunar phases when we're in Coco. We'll talk about all 8 of them, and in particular, we'll work with the new moon when we're in Coco, because we will be together for a new moon, and I'll talk about that in a couple weeks for the one in February. But the new moon in March, we will be in Playa Coco. So this is just to give you a little bit of a taste of some of the upcoming things we'll be talking about. Have a wonderful week.